Good morning, welcome to today's RC Coffee Chat. Now, I've got a couple of topics which I'd like to cover this morning. This is actually the second attempt of recording this episode because there was far too many swear words in here about iNav. So I've had to do it again. And I know with these coffee mornings I was supposed to be leaving all edits in, but the F, the C, and the F, the A, and the C words were used to explain iNav. I'm really annoyed about that this morning. So hopefully I'll tone it down a bit. So iNav is a topic of discussion in today's RC Coffee Chat this morning. We have, good news, the Hornet OSD. Absolutely belter. Absolute belter. Brilliant. We've got a video to that in the Facebook group. You'll find out more about that in a moment. We've got an update on the C1 Chaser as well. I've got more pictures for you, and I've got another flight video for you to watch as well, so you can actually see it in the sky. There's a tiny little F3 board which perked my interest as well. So that's today's topic. So let's go and do this. Let's start with iNav. Now, honestly, I couldn't make this shit up, and you just can do it. So we were up at the flight line. I did all the setup as per normal. I remembered to calibrate the board, which you have to do a 6-way faff for it, and all the movements and stuff, and straight in the ground. Straight in the ground. I was like, what the is going on here? I've been through all the settings. I've checked everything. All the movements were moving on the flight line fine and everything like that. Like, we chuck it and it goes straight in a bloody ground. Anyway, there's a video which I'll stick on my screen, which you may have probably already seen. And if you look at it, when you turn the throttle on, is that there's like this bleed, or apparently it's eye gain or whatever, and it goes into the elevons, and they just go out and stop at their maximum elevation. It's like, well, come on, what's that about? There is a discussion, and I'm not passing any comments on it. You can have a look yourself. The link to GitHub and the issue will be in the video description. Olest is absolutely right. I shouldn't have built the model without a USB adapter on the side. But even still, you would still need access to the boot pins, which does mean the removal. I'm not getting into the topic of that because I'm just not prepared to go there. So I will just put the video evidence on YouTube, and you can make your own bloody decision. Enough on that topic. I'm frustrated about that this morning. I spent hours putting that in. Went back, as suggested, with an F3 flight controller instead of an F1. Same thing. Different issue, but same thing. I'm just pissed on it. And by the way, you don't hear me normally say bad about most things, but that is just a complete dead end. Let's change to a more cheerier topic this morning. The Hornet OSD. Let me go and get another tab open so that you can see this working. And by the way, this video is already out in the Facebook group. The link to the Facebook group is in the video description for you. Just click on the link. It's facebook.com/groups/rag-the-nuts-off. And just hit the join button on the right hand side, and I'll pick up your join request as soon as I can. And let me just go. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button. Let me go back and click on that one. And because I'm posting videos and episodes not quicker, but before they go live on YouTube in there. And there's me chatting. So let me just pop that on the screen. So that's the episode. Brilliant little on-screen display. We had to muck around in the sky. And there's me, and I'm just explaining what we've got on the screen. It's just nice and simple. Nice and simple. I do think I need to do a little bit of calibration. I'll have a bit of a play with that over the next couple of days. But yeah, super impressed with that little OSD board. Very impressed with that. And happy days. So like I said, bit more of a cheerier update than iNav. Update on the C1 Chaser. So yesterday I put let's just get rid of the busted iNavs off my screen. Update to the C1 Chaser. Now, that company did actually contact me about a month ago, and I wrote it off as Chinese spam and didn't pay any attention. So I'm sorry. It was a big fault on my part. I should have identified that model about a month ago. But they put some details in the comment. It just looked spammy, and I deleted it. Oops. I just didn't realise what potential it had. So a month later, it's come back on the radar. Thank goodness Banggood have picked it up, because it's made it a little bit more affordable for the mass markets. And the good news about this, I'll put a link to this website in the video description so you can have a look yourself. But the good thing about this is that they've been included lots and lots of pictures. So let's just go and open some of these up and take a review of them. And I'm just going to open them all up. Alright, it's the easiest way of doing it. Okay, so let's come back to this. It really does look like a wing. It looks like a wing, and if it looks like a wing, it probably isn't that far off a wing. It's curious. Look, they've got... So let's have a look at this picture in more detail. So we've got the curved wingtips on there, not as curved as the wings Z84, I would hasten to add. It looks like a happy medium between that and the the Phantom FX61. We do have top mounted servos. Look at the holes on the top, so they're no longer the servos mounted on the bottom like in the Phantom and in the Z84. Decent size elevons, and not too far out near the wingtip as well, which is promising, because the further you put it out, the less movement you need and the more twitchy it is in the sky, and also the less foam which it has out there. So yeah, good placement on the elevons. Let's talk about the motor. Read in the description on the website. That is a 6x4 prop. I would have personally said that was a 6x4 prop as well, because look at the camber on that propeller. So that's 6 inches propeller. Now on Banggood they're suggesting an 8 up to an 8-inch propeller. So that's really good news. That's good news because that means that we can put a bigger motor in there and potentially swing a bigger prop. Slow, like a mid-range KV motor. That's looking really promising for efficiency. Okay, or a bigger motor to rag the living daylights out of it. Depends which way you look at it. But right now, I'm looking at it from the point of efficiency, because the point of me doing the Wings Z84 build over here, the whatever it's going to be called, and by the way, the wife has started calling it the Bat Baby. But hey, look, anything which keeps the wife involved in the hobby has always got to be a good thing. So anyway, there's not past comment on that one. So anyway, the point was this one was I was gonna set this one up as a short to medium range FPV model. This one, and then when I've had to go to downsize the motor and things like that. Well, this one we could potentially fit a decent sized motor in there. I have actually bought a Sunny Sky 1400 kV motor this morning. No, let me correct that. I actually bought 2 Sunny Sky 1400 kV motors just for this model, and maybe another one. I don't know. Anyway, so because that will swing a good 8 by summit prop with a decent amount of throw in it. So yeah, coming to the motor, that's happy days. Same at the wings, the mirror image. The winglets look exactly the same. When it comes to the main cover area here in the middle, is that look, we've got those little hatch pins, the little cover pins like we've got on the Phantom flying wing. Those little holders to bring up. I thought they were a really good idea. So yeah, it's looking promising. Oh, that one zoomed in quite far. If we take a look at this, yeah, same cross member, but let's not go into the details. Let's just focus on the key point here. Look at the size of the hold in that. It's like a mini cavern. You get a whole geek in that. So look at the size of the battery pack, 4,200. Okay, that is a big battery pack. I don't think we can see the size of the pack, but I would guess around 3S. Just by the way that model flew in the sky in the other video, which I'll put a link to, we'll see in a moment, is that is promising. It's also promising because you can't see it properly here, but it looks like there's a foam stopping block here in the front, which to me, if it is a foam stopping block, then I'm sure we'd all just cut it out so we can move the battery forwards. If we shunt that battery forwards, so we stay with the original size battery which they've got there, we bring that battery forwards, say 2 inches, so it's right up on this front edge.
that does mean that we can get a fair sized flight control board in there. So not likely going to be the Pixhawk, like the full size Pixhawk, easily. I'm going to say easily in inverted commas, because we could also angle that battery up. But we would be able to get a decent sized flight control board in there. The ESC, yeah, I think that's the receipt. Yeah, they've got the ESC sat down the side. But the ESC would be very easily mountable out here on the wing for maximum airflow. Again, keeping components cool is always a good idea. And the receiver, again, personally, I've already worked out. I'm going to do a duplicate layout of what I've got here already. So, yeah, it's kind of a bit of a no-brainer to follow that layout. So, yeah, my point being, nice big hold here in the middle. We've got the clips, the clamp down clips. We don't know what they're going to be look like, so we don't know what they look like just yet, but that gives us an indication. I mean, when I say look like, I don't know how they feel, if that makes sense, when we clip them in. But the main thing is, nice big bowl of a hold in here. You could really fit a nice little banquet of a cake in there. So that's really promising. The other thing which I was thinking is that we could also easily look at the width of there. That is an 18650 battery every day of the week. Look at the size of that battery. That, I reckon, is going to fit in there. So that opens up the potential. So we probably get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could potentially, well, let's just stay with 6. So let's say that we could get 6 of those batteries lengthways in there, with them going horizontally. So that could be 6S if you were slightly unhinged. No, it could be 6S. Sick, that comment was aimed at you, by the way, is that you could have 6 cells going that way, which could be a 3S pack. Now, if that was a flat pack, that would be 7,000 milliampere hours, potentially, on 3S. That would be nuts. Or something absolutely crazy on 2S. I mean, like, absolutely crazy. You'd probably be up around the 1,400 milliampere hours. 14,000 milliampere range in there with whatever combination which you use. And again, I'm thinking of Mr. T, for example, giving suggestions in previous episodes of the RC Coffee Chat. There is lots of potential in there to get, but that's my point, is that there's lots of potential in here around battery packs. That is a decent sized battery pack. There's no way you can really make a small 4,200 battery pack. My hunch is that is a 3S. We will find out more. I've checked Banggood this morning and it's been shipped. So it's on the way to me right now. We will know more. Hopefully, fingers crossed, touching wood, every bit of wood. It'll be with me quickly, within like a couple of days. It was the last model which I ordered where I paid shipping, which was the Mini Skywalker actually. It took 4 days to get here. So I ordered it yesterday and it got shipped overnight. So what date are we on? I will roughly say, so we're on the 4th, we got a weekend. Hopefully by Thursday or Friday of next week, fingers crossed, we might have it here with me. That would be just happy days. So what else have we got in here in the photos? Look at the hood. Look, they've got a little nodule there which sits down. We could kind of see that on there. There's a hole there for for the lid to sit in, so that's a good sign. So that's not going to like blow out. I've heard of other people having issues with the lid blowing off the Z84. Personally, I've never had that, but yeah, nice to see a little nodule on the front to click in. It's got these little finger grips, and look, yeah, there's the servos on the top, which we identified earlier. This one's got a slightly different rearrangement. Oh, we can also see they've got one of those plywood boards with the Velcro loops on. That's also promising too. What else have we got in here for photos? I don't know if that's a black foam version which they've got on here. I would suspect someone's painted this model because I think it was Jazzy or Jumble had mentioned in the comments one of they were going to do a black EPO version. I got a suspicion this is a painted model because look at that line all the way round the top lid. That looks like white to me. So I reckon they've just been and painted that model, if anything. And then anyway, let's have a look underneath. Tiny little 9-gram servo. 9-gram servos, which would be more than adequate in there. Similar setup. Nice. Look at the thickness of that carbon spar. That in fact, let's go back a picture. That looks like potentially a 5 or 6, maybe even a 7 or 8 millimeter size spar across the middle. It's monstrous. If we take that, that's a 4,200 milliampere pack, and that's say a 30 amp ESC. That is a fair old size cross member going through that. So yeah, that's promising. Again, that's promising because rigidity is what we're looking for. We do have a bungee hook down here at the bottom. We got the same finger launching holes. I'm not seeing, I'm just going to zoom in. I am not seeing any little nodules on here to balance it. So I don't know where the CFG point is right now. Maybe it is on the spar, but remember the wings at 84 was always forwards a bit. So that's a curious one. And what we got on here? I think we got someone's... there we go. Yeah, it's another picture of the black one. Yeah, look at that white all the way down there. So it doesn't look like they have a black EPO version. I think it's more of a case that someone sprayed it with a matte black or satin black spray paint. And look, oh yeah, there's the bungee launch hooks as well, which I don't know if you saw in the previous video of this one. It just ducked down. What else have we got in the videos? Oh, sorry, in the images. Yeah, look at that. So FPV camera right up on the front. There's the bungee hook there. Yeah, they've got a little mounting plate for the Mobius or Runcam or whatever they got on the top of there. Just looking at this, for me right now, I would actually cable tie that down as well, just out of paranoia. Remember, that's 70 quid potentially sat on the top if it's a Runcam. We don't want that to come off, so yeah, that would have a cable tie just loops the top 2 layers together, just done on loosely so it doesn't really impact the model, the camera at all, but then also do a physical mount into the foam to hold the mount in as well. What else we got? There's another photo which we've already seen, and there's the back end of it as well. Yeah, I didn't notice on the servo horns what they were doing, because I wonder if they got the crappy... Yeah, we don't see on that. It's got no horns in. No horns in that one. Yeah, I've got a sneaky suspicion that the servo horns are going to be the shite ones which we've got with the FX61. Yeah, look, we can't see it in there. Oh, look, there's the telltale. Don't bother with their push horn, the control horns. They're going to be absolutely rubbish. Go and buy some other ones. I'll put a link to the good ones in the video description underneath this episode for you, because that looks just like the ones which just glue in from one side. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Just go and put some proper control horns in there, because those will pull out. Okay, I've never had one pull out because I've never used them. All right, so the control horns which it looks like which we get with this model, just don't use. Put your own in instead, the ones which go all the way through the foam, and you put the little clippy on the back as well. We may have to create like a supporting pad for it as well, because of the amount of foam which they've cut out to make room for that control horn. So, all right, that's probably the biggest negative which I can see so far, is the control horns look pants. Right. Last topic. Well, almost last topic. There is another video of this model flying in the sky. I just want to point out just something which I just noticed in the video, and I'll put a link to this video in the video description for you, is that when he starts flying it, right, see the duck, it's not as bad as the other one, but watch as this model flies around the sky. He's actually rotating it and turning it at the same time. So that actually tells me, the one thing which I can pick up from this video, is that that pilot is actually a very experienced pilot. And the reason why I can tell that is because when he's rolling in a circle, which is quite, in fact, very tricky to do. And every time it's inverted, he's pushing down to bring the model back up so it flies on a straight line. So watch that video very, very carefully. So let me just rewind it a touch. Let me maximize that out. So watch, it's launched, it's dipped. He brings for a loop. Down. Now what? No, is it this time? Come on, fella. Yeah, look, see how he's doing the rolls? He's putting down, look, round, down, round, down, round, down, round, down. Look how he's maintained the height in there. So that pilot in that video is making that model look fantastic because he is actually a very experienced pilot. That is very tricky to get this routine on the sticks, and trust me, I've tried quite a lot. I am nowhere near that, but to make a model do basically a big loop as you're rolling her is very tricky. I mean, I genuinely mean that. It's very tricky. Give it a go, but by the way, give it plenty of height because it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but not impossible, I hasten to add. So there's a link to this video down in the video description for you. And the last topic for today is a tiny little F3 flight control board, a femto board. And now, for those of you which fly quadcopters, have you just realised the size of this board? Look, literally, that's the USB plug. It's 2 centimeters by 2 centimeters, so like 3/4 of an inch by 3/4 of an inch. It's tiny. How they got everything on there, I don't know. And if you look at the wiring diagram, you can just about get a receiver in and an LED sensor out again. It's mad. It's absolutely tiny. Look, size 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters and weight 2.0. Battery's charged, by the way. And by the way, today is a flying day, and I won't be flying iNav today. Enough on that topic, I think. So 2.2 grams. So that would make it, well, what size was it? A 150 frame. So that makes it really, really curious, because if those of you which are looking for something like as a step up from a 10 mil quad, sorry, a 10 centimeter quad to into the range of say 14 or 15 quad size frame, that board is absolutely tiny. Now, realistically, it is a mental little device, but to be fair, think of the challenge trying to wire on the ESCs and things like that. You would have to be running a super lightweight setup to gain the advantage of a couple of grams on that one. Whereas the 150, sorry, the 140 frames which I've seen, most of them will take a 3.5 board, standard like flight control board in them, and yeah, it'd be fine. It'd be a damn sight blooming easier to solder it up. But on the flip side, I'm just amazed by how well they can cram so much functionality into something which is the size of a coin. It's like a 2p coin here in the United Kingdom is bigger than that flight controller, and that flight controller can control 4 motors and keep a quadcopter stable in the sky. That's just nuts. So yeah, I spotted that one on Banggood. I was really curious on that one, just because they managed to cram so much into a tiny board. So yeah, that's today's RC coffee chat. iNav, arse, Hornet OSD, happy days, super impressed with that one. Like I said, I think I've got 2 or 3 more of these on the way to me. When the next ones arrive, and I'm pointing over here because I've got it sat right next to me. The next time, when they arrive, I'll do a little setup, episode for you. They're dirt simple. In fact, I'll do 2 setup episodes. I'll do like the super simple one, and I mean it's super simple. Just solder up on these pads. Jobs are good, you know. So it's straightforward as that. And then I'll do like part 2 where we've got the setup with using the app, the desktop app, which you can run on your computer to put your little call sign in there and maybe calibrate or maybe changing some of the current sensing or whatever. It's just the options are so simple. So I'll just do 2 parts because then it keeps it simple and a little bit not so simple, if that makes sense. What else did we cover today? Oh, update on the C1 Chaser. I will put a link to this website in the video description for you. I do have a couple of reservations there. I know some of you didn't have that much of a good experience with the Rainbow Flying Wing. Personally, once I broke it and put that board on the bottom of it, it's been fine. I've had 30, 40 flights out of mine, and it's still in one piece. And granted, I did crack the other wing the other morning, but I've been enjoying mine. But I do appreciate that wasn't everybody's cup of tea, and maybe it suited a slightly more experienced pilot, if I'm brutally honest. But I've enjoyed mine, I hope that you enjoyed yours as well. It was a shame it just wasn't as robust. This one, if it's half, so the C1 Chaser, if it's half as good as a Wing Z84, from what I can tell, from what you can tell in those videos which we've seen so far, and just by what it looks like, it's going to be a good model. The Wing Z84 is an amazing model. Like I said, if it's half of what our Z84 is, it's going to be good. From what we can tell, with the evidence which we've got right now, it looks pretty good. Mine's already been dispatched. As soon as I've got it, I will get the unboxing episode on here so that you can see it firsthand. I will just stuff whatever components I've got available to me in it at the point in time, just to be able to get it in the air as fast as possible. I won't glue too much. Well, there's not really much to be honest, I will end up gluing the wings on, but there's nothing complex about the build. I will just go fast as possible, get the motor in, receiver, battery, servos, and off we go. I will just get the build done as fast as possible, as fast as sensibly possible, I hasten to add, and we'll take her out for a test flight, because that will be the moment of truth of how does she fly. Once we've got her airborne, I think we'll have our confidence up with this model then, and yeah, then we're into the territory of flight controllers. You'd easily fit an Eagle Tree Vector in there, without a doubt, that's for sure. Battery combination, I genuinely don't know. I am now leaning towards getting a Pics Racer to put in there. Excuse me, now after sleeping on it overnight and looking at the size of the board in here, the space in here, without having to dig out stuff, yeah, a normal size Pixhawk would be a bit of a struggle to fit in there, but not impossible, I hasten to add. So those of you which have got a Pixhawk spare, yeah, that would definitely fit in there. I think we're all agreed that there's loads of space inside of that model, so it would fit. You just have to angle your battery back up a bit. But with that said, I am thinking Pics Racer in here, ESC out on the wing, and then the same kind of setup with what I've got with the Wing Z84. So that would be an X8R receiver out in the wing, cut in the wing over here, the video transmitter on this side, the ESC probably on the left, and then maybe the GPS over here on the wing somewhere. Again, I'm just thinking maybe just there. We are dealing with a slightly bigger model, whereas the Z84 was really cramped to get everything in. We could probably get the GPS over here on the wing out the way. But I don't know, that's just my thoughts right now. If you've got any thoughts, what are you going to stick in yours? I don't know. Let me know. In fact, what are your thoughts around motors, ESCs, the propeller? I think, fingers crossed, we're going to be able to get an 8-inch propeller on this one. What are you going to be doing with yours? Like I asked the question yesterday. Do let me know in the comments section underneath this episode. And with that said, oops a daisy, rather long coffee morning this morning. And that's really cold. So thank you ever so much for joining me for this extended episode this morning. Any thoughts, comments, suggestions, good, bad or ugly on this new wing, please do let me know in the comment section. I would appreciate your feedback. So on that note, from myself, Matt, cheerios.